Mainland doctor suggests influenza A may cause white lung disease. Mainland people question if COVID-19 has been renamed as flu A. A police-civilian clash erupts in Henan following the tragic death of a woman. The CCP's potential downfall may originate in rural areas. It's all covered in today's China Truths. A mainland doctor suggests influenza A may cause white lung disease. Recently, Chinese authorities have reported a significant increase in cases of influenza A H1N1, as hospitals struggle to handle the influx of patients, particularly among children and the elderly. According to the Vision Times, on February 27, Dr. Hu Yang, the deputy chief physician of the respiratory department at Shanghai Pulmonary Hospital, wrote on Weibo that both H1N1 and H3N2 viruses can cause influenza pneumonia. Patients who have weakened immune systems, advanced age, or serious underlying diseases are more susceptible to developing pneumonia. Dr. Hu said that the symptoms of pneumonia include coughing, persistent phlegm, gradually developing difficulty breathing, and hypoxemia. If these symptoms occur, patients should seek medical attention immediately for a chest X-ray or chest CT scan. In severe cases, patients may need to be admitted to the ICU for treatment, and a small number of patients may require intubation therapy. According to Dr. Hu, while many patients with influenza pneumonia can recover after treatment, fibrotic lesions or even fibrosis in the lungs are usually left behind. These conditions can lead to white lung disease, characterized by a large white shadow in the lungs visible through X-ray examination. Patients diagnosed with white lung disease may exhibit severe hypoxia symptoms, including chest tightness, wheezing, weakness, difficulty breathing, coughing up phlegm, and fever. Left unchecked or in the presence of other underlying health conditions such as hypertension, coronary heart disease, diabetes, stroke, or tumors, the disease can progress to multiple organ failure, affecting the lungs and heart and potentially resulting in coma, shock, or even death. As authorities have warned, the H1N1 influenza virus is known for its high mutability among influenza viruses, as well as its strong pathogenicity and infectivity, leading to rapid and extensive outbreaks. Throughout history, the H1N1 influenza virus has been responsible for almost every major flu epidemic. Mainland people question if COVID-19 has been renamed as flu A. Dr. Hu's comments regarding the H1N1 flu have ignited a contentious debate across various social media platforms, with multiple related topics garnering over 1 billion views and surging to the top of search lists. One of the most prevalent discussions includes debates surrounding H1N1 causing white lungs and whether nucleic acid tests are capable of detecting H1N1. Some Chinese citizens are now questioning whether the authorities are using H1N1 as a guise to mask the second wave of the pandemic. A citizen by the name of Mr. Zhang voiced his concerns, stating that if it's white lung, it's almost certainly not H1N1, but rather COVID-19. So, what is the percentage of white lung cases? Official data on flu viruses such as H1N1 are not available. Ms. Liu, a Beijing resident, said,
政府怎么说我也不信了，因为我自从发烧嘛，没过2天以后就开始咳嗽，专家说3至7周自己就好了，你不用看。等我看的时候，我已经肺结节了，有多少人得结节的？他怎么不报啊？你有什么辙啊？政府都告诉我们了，你是第一责任人，没有办法，只能自己去开始买药。
Another Chinese citizen disclosed that mainlanders were overwhelmed with fear during the pandemic's initial outbreak 3 years ago, worrying that they would lack access to crucial medication and medical care. As previously reported, individuals have now begun to hoard medicine as they lack confidence in official statements. As a result, many pharmacies have run out of fever medication, particularly oseltamivir. A police-civilian clash erupts in Henan following the tragic death of a woman. Recently, a tragic incident has captured the attention of netizens in mainland China. On February 20th, a 24-year-old woman in Yangdashao village, Songsuan Township, Anyang, Henan, lost her life at the hands of her husband following a dispute with her mother-in-law. The victim was stabbed 8 times, as reported by the Vision Times. While the husband was taken into custody, the victim's in-laws absconded. Shockingly, the woman's family was not notified until 5 days after her death. Despite this, they proceeded to hold her funeral at the in-laws' residence, where the deceased was interred at the main entrance. Many mourners came to pay their respects and offered flowers. The plot thickened when, on the night of the 26th, the victim's remains were stolen, and her family was taken into police custody. This sparked public outrage, and as a result, the perpetrator's home was vandalized and set on fire, leading to a substantial police presence in the area. This led to clashes between the police and villagers, with police cars being overturned. According to NTD-TV, videos show a disturbing scene where police officers reportedly employed pepper spray, batons, and knives to disperse the crowd and assault villagers. Some male villagers were reportedly dragged out of their homes and subjected to police brutality. According to online reports, curious onlookers and supporters from neighboring areas, including the province of Shandong, flocked to the village. In addition, rumors circulating online suggest that Yangazhou village has been subjected to a strict lockdown with power outages, while live streaming is prohibited. According to a villager, the authorities deployed thousands of officers, including special and riot police, to barricade the roads leading to the village. In response to inquiries, officials from the Sungsuan Township government claim that the police are authorized to implement measures like blocking the village and prohibiting live streaming to investigate the case. However, on the 28th, attempts by reporters to contact the village, including the village committee, were met with unresponsive phone lines. In response to the case, Henan residents have expressed frustration and anger toward the government's apparent inability to act. According to local reports, the female victim had been embroiled in a long-standing dispute with her mother-in-law, with her husband consistently siding with his mother. These conflicts, coupled with depression, led the victim to file for divorce, ultimately leading to her tragic death. Sadly, she leaves behind 2 young children. Twitter users have weighed in on the incident, stating that under the CCP's high-pressure regime, there is an increasingly sharp divide between officials and civilians, leading to a potentially explosive situation. People will seek to exploit any opportunity to express their discontent, resulting in similar incidents in the future. Some have even claimed that the CCP's rule is coming to an end. A senior media figure, the CCP's potential downfall may originate in rural areas. The Chinese economy is currently experiencing a downturn, resulting in a pervasive trend of layoffs and salary cuts by both state-owned and private companies. This issue is particularly acute for small and medium-sized enterprises, which are facing bankruptcy in unprecedented numbers. The decline in employment in the manufacturing industry has left many rural migrant workers feeling hopeless after being deceived by the CCP's propaganda regarding the nation's economic recovery, causing them to return to urban areas in search of work. Despite the situation, video footage continues to circulate on Chinese social media platforms depicting factories in Jiangsu, Zhejiang, Shanghai, Guangdong, and other regions that are solely hiring temporary workers at significantly reduced hourly wages ranging from 6 to 9 yuan, equivalent to $1.17 to $1.31. Nevertheless, owing to the need to survive, there is a sizable pool of job seekers vying for these positions. Regrettably, it has been over a month since the Chinese Lunar New Year, and a large number of businesses have halted their hiring processes. As a result, many rural migrant workers have been struggling to survive on the streets of major cities, rapidly depleting their savings. Disturbing online footage has recently emerged, showcasing how even those individuals who seek shelter in train stations and underpasses in locations such as Shenzhen and Dongguan are being forcibly removed by the police under the guise of beautifying the city. Consequently, numerous groups of desperate rural migrant workers have been compelled to return to their hometowns. In a recent video, a high-speed train in a specific area was inundated with returning migrant workers, causing overcrowding and necessitating the train to stop and alert the police to expel a large number of passengers who lacked tickets. On February 22, Yin Chunghua, a senior media figure who formerly worked in the Hong Kong press, published an article on Facebook titled "The Return of Migrant Workers to Their Hometowns is a Bad Omen, and Grassroots Governments Will Collapse First." According to the article, over the last 4 decades, hundreds of millions of Chinese migrant workers have adopted urban lifestyles and mindsets, becoming accustomed to the hustle and bustle of city life and having no concept of farming life in rural areas. This makes their return to the past an overwhelming challenge. The article notes that these individuals are unable to endure the grueling physical labor required in farming under the scorching sun and driving rain, and small towns lack sufficient employment opportunities to accommodate their numbers. After their return to rural areas, they will be compelled to subsist solely on farming, which is insufficient to sustain their families. Once their savings have been depleted, they will be confronted with the harrowing realization that they have nowhere to go with their loved ones. The article additionally highlights that the majority of China's previous incidents of mass unrest have been concentrated in urban areas, which makes it difficult for the small, marginalized communities left behind in rural regions to form collective resistance. Nevertheless, today's returning migrant workers are in the prime of their lives and have been educated in modern consciousness and wage-earning rights. When these individuals convene in rural areas to demand accountability and resolution from the government, the outcome is unpredictable. This is equivalent to building a large number of gunpowder depots in the vast countryside, where a single spark could trigger a large-scale explosion. The article stated that China's township governments are facing unprecedented financial difficulties, and grassroots party officials are incapable of safeguarding themselves amid salary reductions and layoffs. When the young and able-bodied rural population gathers, village officials will be isolated and helpless, and the higher-level government will be unable to intervene. It will become meaningless to talk about stability maintenance in rural regions. The article's final point is that China's economic decline is irreversible, implying that the route for migrant workers to earn a livelihood will become more and more difficult. Ultimately, when the rural gunpowder stores ignite, it will mark the beginning of the CCP regime's downfall, commencing in the countryside. At this juncture, even Zhang Nanhai will be powerless to reverse the tide, presenting the Chinese people with an opportunity to transform their destiny. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We will keep reporting on the COVID surge in China, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to get the latest videos. And thank you for tuning in.